Hey book friends, how are you? I hope everyone is well. I'm so excited for today's video. It is the kickoff on a book series that I read by somebody who's becoming one of my favorite authors. I have enjoyed every single book that I have read of hers. The series that we are going to start with this first video today is the Made for You Trilogy by Cassandra P Lewis. So today we're going to talk about the first book in the series, Wanting You. This series follows the same couple through all three books. There are three books. There will be three videos. I was so excited to get back to them. I started the series earlier in the fall, I think October maybe, and then I had a bunch of arcs come through and just got super busy. I was really hoping to stick to reading them one after the other, but it didn't happen. But I knew when I got back to them, I wanted to read them and not get interrupted again. And that finally happened. So I really had only gotten a couple of chapters into Wanting You. Already I was like, oh, here we go. I'm such a fan of Cassie's work. I will include the other videos that I've done on her books in the description bar below. She wrote my very favorite Christmas book to date, which is Say Yes to Christmas. I know it's January, but if you need a recommendation for a Christmas book for next year, definitely recommend that book. I also really enjoyed Sticking to the Terms, so I was thrilled to get to read a series of hers. More books, more characters to be introduced to. Wanting You is about Rosetta and Jackson. Rosetta goes by Rosie. It takes place partly in Thailand, but they're both from England. I really liked the premise. I loved what Cassie gave us as far as Thailand. She's been there herself several times. She said it's one of her favorite places on earth. I totally got that. I love the way she described it. I've never been myself, but let me tell you, the visions that I had in my head through her words were amazing. Rosie is recently jilted at the aisle by her fiance. I was like, girlfriend, how do you come back from that? But she realized that, you know what? Maybe it was a blessing in disguise. He was a cheater anyway. She has a very good friend, Pippa, and she's really close to her brother, Rafe. She talks to Pippa. They used to travel together. And she's like, you know what? I just need to get out of here. I just need to get away and just clear my mind. And so they decide to go to Thailand. Jackson is a travel blogger turned travel writer. They're roughly the same age. I have to admit to, and I mean this in the best way possible, not really liking Jackson for a lot of the time. He made me nervous. It's not that I didn't like him. He made me nervous. I connected with Rosie immediately. I mean, how could you not? I love that she was a romance writer. I felt like I understood her right away when she was talking about relationships and when her and Jackson meet and where she was in her life. So I liked her right away. Jackson made me nervous. He's kind of a player, and so therefore I knew that my heart was not completely safe with him. He's a guy that's never been tied down and never plans to be. And that's not the kind of guy, we all love the bad boys, don't we? And not that he's a bad boy, but he's like a one and done kind of guy. Rosie and Jackson meet by chance. They happen to have the same publisher. They're both walking into the office. She's like, okay, he's cute. Wow. She literally runs right into him. And then he's like, whoa, hello. And then she just kind of carries on with her day where he's like still looking back and he's like, wow, okay. He is affected by her immediately where she's like, okay, he's cute. Like maybe I can get back out there eventually. If you're new to my channel, I always like to share. I highlight a ton. I highlight, especially in this series, I highlighted so much, but what I do is I highlight all the passages that I like, and then I go back when I'm preparing for the video and I'm reminded and I kind of get back into my feels about it. So I always like to share some of those with you guys. If I shared all of them, oh my gosh, my videos are already long and we'd be here for days, especially when it's an author like Cassie, who I love and adore. So anyway, I do like to share some of the snippets. So this is from Rosie talking about kind of where she is in her life. R.P. Alves, best-selling romance novelist. That's me, or at least it's supposed to be me, but I'm a little short on inspiration right now. About 10 months ago, I attended a wedding, my wedding as it happens, but my groom obviously didn't get his invite. Being jilted on the most important day of your life tends to sap any romance out of you. So here I am as plain old Rosetta, or Rosie to my nearest and dearest, sitting in my publisher's office and trying to find words to explain that I have acute writer's block on account of my heart being ripped out in front of all of my family and friends. And then she goes on to say, I'm 26. I had a plan. I would be married and have a baby by 30, another by 33 at the latest, and that would be that. I'd have my career, my family, and of course a beautiful home and wonderful husband. Michael may not have been the husband I always saw in my head, but he's the man I chose, the man I said yes to, and he humiliated me. Oof. And she goes on, I struggle to decipher my feelings on it all. Am I heartbroken or am I just embarrassed? I still don't know. All I know is that my bubble burst in the most epic way, and now I'm so lost. I'm not sure I'll ever find my way back. Oh my gosh, I got her. But as my forehead hits the desk and I see the piles of crumpled paper, chocolate wrappers, soda cans, and takeaway boxes around the bin, I realize I can't do this. I have nothing to write. I need inspiration. I need a break. So that's where she and Pip decide to go to Thailand and like get her groove back. So they go on an epic best friend trip to one of their favorite places, and lo and behold, who does she see again but Jackson? Jackson is there writing a book about, like I said, he's a travel writer, so about Thailand, and like, I can't remember the premise of the book, but in any case, he's there, he's gonna be there for a few weeks. She's there, she's gonna be there for a few weeks as well. This is what Rosie says about Jackson. He really is delicious. He has an absolutely hypnotic smile, and his dark brown hair is styled perfectly into a sort of organized mess, and his eyes, my word, the eyes, but he is way too arrogant for my liking. I mean, travel writer extraordinaire? Who does that? And then Jackson. It makes me really uncomfortable that she's so completely stuck in my head. It's starting to piss me off, to be honest. I don't even know the woman, but can't seem to stop thinking about that hair, those effing eyes. I need a distraction, a few beers, and someone to share a pillow with should help. I head out of the hostel and make my way to a bustling little street I'm familiar with. I sit alone at an outdoor table of a restaurant, watching the world go by and trying to forget my disappointment at Rosetta Alves's apparent failure to be enamored with me. I was like, okay, good. Don't get me wrong. I did like Jackson. I know I said I didn't, but let me explain further. He does things that are really cute. Like, he's that hot guy that we all know. And there was stuff where I was like, girl, I understand why you like him. They definitely have chemistry. The book is spicy. But he does things in this book that really upset me. I saw what Rosie saw in him. Of course I did. But my heart knew, just like hers did, that I couldn't trust him. He does stuff that like literally broke my heart. I was so pissed off at him. And I love that Cassie's writing made me feel that way. I also knew this is the first of 3 books. So they go through it in this book. They reconnect when they go back to England. I'm not giving you a spoiler. It's 3 books. They obviously had to reconnect after their vacation for there to be 3 books. But I thought to myself, as much as Rosie thought it to herself, can he prove that she can trust him, that he's worth her time? She feels like he's the guy for her, but is he? At one point, I thought it was really interesting because he says himself, I hit the self-destruct button. And he did, like big self-destruct button. And that where I was like, my heart was just, oof, I don't know about you, Jackson. Is it the wrong time, but the right person? All that kind of stuff. I was very surprised at the end of this book. What an upswing Cassie leaves it on. And I was so excited to move on to the second book. I will be uploading my next video on the second book, which is called Needing You, shortly, so make sure you definitely go check out that one as well. While you're here, I would love for you to consider subscribing and give the video a thumbs up. I know I always say it, but it really does help my channel when you do that. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. As always, I'll see you soon.